No longer, it's not as busy as it used to be in the first
No,
year.
unfortunately not. No, I do have some good memories of it in my first year. I'd say I've got more than one embarrassing picture in the Tiki Bar at Cuda from first year.
And finally, your favourite spot on campus if it's not courtyard, as you said?
That's a good. I'd say Greg's place because I like sitting there looking over the lake.
Okay, great. Well, thank you, Matt. It's been a pleasure speaking to you, and hopefully
thank you very much.
see you soon. Thank you.
We now go over to Studio Blue.
That's right. Our YouTube stream is currently a little bit down, but that's all right.
I think we're back.
Are we back? We're back. We're back. Lovely. Wonderful.
Oh dear, hello. My name is Ben Allen and I am here with Deb, who is also running for Academic Officer. So firstly, one of the points that you highlighted in your manifesto, one of your sort of key priorities, is academic as our priority.
Yep.
Can you briefly explain what this means to you and why you've chosen to focus on this as your first point?
All right. So basically, the academic as a priority, what the course is right now running for the modules. Along with that, I'm also planning to add on the global learning platforms like Coursera or edX, wherein each and every student from different department will be able to get a free learning course study along with their original course modules. Okay, so wherein they'll be able to get all the certificates from the global universities like Stanford, Harvard. Right now, being a student, if I enroll in any one of the courses online, there is a charge of approximately £99. So if we just tie up with all these online global platforms, like apart from specific learning which you are going with your course modules, you'll be able to go through other universities courses as well, and you'll get certificates from there which will help you to build up your CV. Your resume will be more strong, and this will help you in the internship process.
Interesting. I mean, wider and expanded learning is definitely a great thing for degrees and for general sort of student activity. And you touched on there your plan, which is another sort of key part of your manifesto, to try and create this ability to use things like, did you mention Coursera and Udemy and different online platforms like that? However, obviously, you've mentioned there is a cost typically associated with that. So what is your plan for trying to get these places on board? Because there is obviously, is it almost 20,000 students in York, I think? And obviously that's a lot of money that potentially these places will be losing out on. So have you had any contact with any of these places? What's your plan for being able to actually enable this?
All right. So basically what happens, like these global platforms give opportunities for the university students as well, so that they can directly endorse and go for the certification. So for this, the university has to directly contact with the Coursera or, just an example, edX or Coursera, and then they will tie up with the university and they will provide free certifications, which currently are chargeable, but they won't be charging anything from the university students, just to enhance their learning skills and make it better place, to understand and to get certificates from this university.
So just to be clear, where is that money coming from? Who is funding this? Because you were saying it's normally charged.
Yes.
Where is this money coming from? Is it a charitable donation by any of these platforms? Is it the university paying for it, or is it USU paying for it? Who is funding this?
All right. So basically there is a financial certificate which university needs to provide from the student point of view. So like if we have 20,000 base of students, so there will be tie-ups from the university along with these companies, these organizations. So there is a charity which helps all the students to get these kind of certificates without any cost. So we need to provide few of the economic background for all the students who are studying here, and then they will provide you the free certification courses.
Okay, interesting. So you're suggesting almost contacting a charity to help fund this. Is there a particular charity in mind, do you say, or is this something you're trying to create?
It's basically like university has to approach these companies, these organizations like edX or Coursera, and they will tie up with the university and they will provide certain amount of courses which will be completely free for all the departments. And thereafter, if a student is still wanting to get more certificates or specialization or degree from this organization, then they need to provide the financial documents, and then they'll get it for free.
Okay, but you're saying there's this free baseline of courses that's available to everyone.
Yes.
So again, is this the university paying for it, or is this the Or is this these websites that are sort of backing this? Because obviously these are typically charged courses.
Yes.
I'm still struggling to slightly understand sort of where this initial backing, even just for this base level of courses, is coming from.
Okay, so initial 10 to 20% is what university has to pay.
Right.
And thereafter, the charity which is backing up these organizations will be helping the students who are really willing to, go through these certification courses and enhance their CV. Yeah?
Right. Okay. Do you have any idea what sort of bill that would incur for the university if the university is footing the bill for this initial section?
Yes. So basically, it's like around roughly like 5,000 to 10,000 pounds a year if we have a big base like 20,000 students.
For all the students?
For all the students, yeah, because there's a charity which is also backing up from them, from behind. So yeah.
Okay, so this is 5 to 10,000 not including the charity donation, which will add on top of
Yes.
this.
The donation will be coming from the charity, and if you are paying if just an example, if the course is £100. After applying your financial circumstances, then it will always be reduced to 10 or 20 pounds, like just 80% will be waived off. And apart from that, if university is paying up, then it will be zero.
Interesting. Okay, so you've mentioned a lump sum there of sort of £5,000 to £10,000 of investment from the university before we get to this charity situation. There are plenty of people who would say that potentially something like societies and student groups are also another very valid way of enriching student life. Why do you think it's a better priority to spend this £5,000 to £10,000 on online courses for all the students as opposed to adding that money, say, to USU's block grant? Because there are plenty of societies to who that money would make the world of difference.
Yeah, I completely agree with your point. The reason being focusing majorly on this online platform is the certifications and the courses which are there in this platform are directly from the world top 10 universities like Stanford, Oxford, and all the Russell Group and the Ivy League universities. So basically getting a certificate or a degree or any kind of a learning from such a huge universities who are ranking top 10 or top 20 will add up your CV, which will help you to get internships very early as compared to other students who are, with you in the league.
That's fair enough. So internships is the main driving factor behind this, and you think the best way to do it is through further academic study.
Yes.
You've also mentioned that a large part of your campaign is based around this disable the label policy. Could you just explain why that means so much to you?
Yes. Basically, the disable the label campaign is all about all our friends who are, physically challenged, and for them, I want to work more. Just to enhance their living quality and also along with the education quality in the university.
Fair enough. Okay, thank you. So you're running against Matt Best, who we've just heard from, and a lot of his campaign is based on his prior experience in the role. So what do you say to that? Do you have any particular attributes that you think would combat or potentially beat Matt's previous experience?
Yes. Currently, I'm also an online instructor on Udemy. Approximately 290,000 plus students across 195 countries are enrolled on my courses. Getting the feedback from them helped me a lot, to apply for this academic officer role. And yes, getting all the feedbacks from them, integrating with all my points which are here, I think, I will be able to, go
Amazing.
for it. Yeah.
Thank you. If you just had to summarise in 3 words, what are you about running for academic officer?
It's quite an interesting question. I'll say purity above power. And for academic officer, I feel like, I can, increase the risk
I will have to
assessment.
stop you there, I'm afraid. We're running out of time. Thank you very much for joining me. We switch to Matt Johnston in Studio Red.
And I'm joined by Matt Johnston, current academic officer. A few months left in the role. It's strange because 2 years ago we were sitting in these seats and I was interviewing you for your first election campaign. Actually, that's not true. Your second election campaign.
No,
I lost
the first one, yeah.
Well, if at first you don't succeed, try twice again and win both times. What's the difference now being in YRY with a few months left?
I'm much less stressed. I'm watching the chaos unfold, and I don't have to worry too much about it, which is nice. And I can see the kind of the anxiety in you both, and I can smile at it in a non-discriminatory way.
Absolutely. Well, we probably have to touch on it because we're doing an SU election period during a strike period.
We are again, like we were 2 years ago.
Like it's very deja vu. But let's talk a little bit about strikes. There's obviously a wide range of student opinions, and people will be wondering why they haven't been balloted in the same way as they were in autumn, in the spring. Can you just talk us through that difference in position this time around?
So I actually wrote an article about it.
Where can people read it?
On Wonky,
Wonky,
somewhere. I don't actually know if it's public access.
You've got to search Matt Johnston Wonky.
Yeah, and my profile picture on that website has hair, which is very weird. So when we balloted, we had low turnout, 3.3%, give or take, depending on which student numbers you look at. 693 responses. Wasn't great. Was not really quorate if we were doing an official referendum. So there wasn't much weight behind what we were saying, and there wasn't really much we could do with the result. We announced it to the university. We went and we supported UCU, and that was kind of it. But because of the low turnout, the university wasn't massively blown away with what we were saying. It wasn't.
Yeah.
There wasn't sufficient weight behind our words to make all of the drama and to thoroughly annoy, almost swore, the those 43% of respondents that really didn't want to support strike action. To annoy that many people with such a split vote, I think the phrase I used was swift, decisive, and overwhelmingly divisive, which I am so proud of, and I feel like I stole it from somewhere. So this time around, we are kind of supporting strike action. We're still there on the picket lines every morning. I think this morning none of us were there due to various circumstances. Most mornings we're there.
Yeah.
We have snacks. We're talking to striking staff. We're talking to people on the picket lines. But the main point is we are voicing frustration from the student body. Because whether you were angrily against strikes or you were angrily for strikes, the key theme between those two things was you were angry.
Yeah.
And we just want to give students a voice to voice that.
Oh, that makes sense. Let's talk a little bit about other things. I don't want to make this all about strikes in your candidate interview night. The two people going for your role, what do you think are the challenges they're going to have over the next year from July onwards?
Well, I think they're going to continue seeing high workload amongst staff. I don't think. Well, actually, in just over a year, there will be another valuation. It's the valuations of the USS pension scheme. The assets held by that scheme are on a 3-year cycle, and the next one is due in March 2023. So that will rear its ugly head again. They will have to deal with that towards the end of their term. There are things coming down from the Office for Students right now. What's currently being referred to as the B3 Bear, which is a requirement B3, which is to do with outcomes, graduate outcomes, and students should go into employment when they graduate. Otherwise, universities aren't doing their job properly. It's a whole thing. You've got B3, you've got TEF as well, which is currently being reworked, which is the Teaching Excellence Framework. There is going to be some bureaucracy involved with that, which is going to take up a significant amount of time. And of course, in September 2023, we are starting a modularized and semesterized academic year.
Yeah.
So the next, 18 months are going to be full of modern SEM talks. Because I call it modern SEM because it's so much easier.
Well, I'm going to interrupt you. There's plenty to be getting on with for either Deb or Matt Best. Let's head down to the green room, and Claudia and Beth.
I just love a good exit interview.
Oh, we love exit interviews here in the green room.
2 terms. He's had a really good run. But you know what we also love? Stereotyping colleges.
Oh, yeah. Nice little transition you have there, Claudia.
You're welcome. Anytime. They're definitely not my forte. But let's imagine that instead of having students run for the SAB roles, we had the colleges.
Right.
So, I don't know, who could be president?
I'm thinking a Hes East College.
definitely put together.
But
College stereotypes coming through.
yep, just thinking through the buildings, actually, to be honest, architecturally. Clean buildings, nice and organised. I think Langwith, to be honest.
Langwith is
Quite
a good
presidential vibes.
Yeah.
Yellow presidential.
It's got its vibe together. They have picnic tables outside the houses.
Yeah,
Like,
there we
if you-
go.
If you've got a picnic table, you've basically got your life together, right?
Right, sport, obvious. James.
Duh.
It's next to the gym.
It's next to the gym and the sports field.
Yeah.
Academics, it's got to be Alcuin.
Yeah, again, are we doing this based on how close it is to the library?
Yeah, but also, I don't know, try thinking of the people you know from those colleges. Like Alcuin, all the people I know from Alcuin have their life together. They're really studious.
Yeah. And to be fair,
They've got a college cat.
they do. I think that means academic.
Right.
That's academic. But I mean, right, what's the next one? Community and well-being.
Maybe we're biased, but Halifax.
It's nice. Bit
Yeah.
of a village vibe.
Yeah, green spaces, good for well-being.
I feel like it also feels quite homely. You get like a little doorbell.
Yeah. I
Counts.
didn't have one. I was in the flats.
Oh, see, I had a doorbell.
see,
Community and well-being.
I
all
was
sorted
in the
there.
nice bit of Halifax.
Right, what have we missed? Activities.
Oh, Vanbrugh.
I don't know. Vanbrugh, yeah, I mean, I don't disagree, but I think Derwent. Just to change things up rather than us agreeing.
Bit chaotic.
Chaotic. Got some activities. They've got D-Bar.
They
kind
do.
of, since they've been redone it.
Neither have I. Yeah.
Okay, if we're on our route, I'm
Right.
thinking USU bars then. What USU bar? Which one would be president?
Oh, it's got to be Glasshouse.
Classy and big portions of cheesy chips.
I think said glassy. I was like, wow.
Classy, yeah.
But,
what a good adjective. No, I think Glass House for president. They've got my vote.
Yep.
And, also on Hes East. Apparently we've decided they're presidential.
Yeah.
And then I'm thinking, again, I think we've got to do it based on how close. Well, how close is it? Is kitchen, community and well-being, or academic? You can tweet us if you want your opinions on that pressing question.
I'm going to go for academic. Because every time I go to it, it's full of people studying. It's full of people who don't want to be in the library because the library stresses them out, but also want a coffee at the same time.
Yeah, see, I disagree because Alcuin's perfect for a post, like when you're a bit hungover, post-night out debrief. Get like a sausage roll or something, a coffee.
In Alcuin.
In Alcuin, you really reinforce, get a bit of community, get your well-being up.
Drag yourself
There
to
we go.
campus, try to look alive.
Bit of a stretch, but we'll go with it. And I think if we've got Alcuin as community and well-being, I think the clear and obvious choice is the place for academic, is the place at the quiz. So we're going V-Bar.
Yeah.
Vanbrugh Arms, V-Bar. Mm-hmm. There we go. I think that's that. And then
pretty good.
what's left? Activities? Oh, and sport.
Oh, sport. See, sport, I would have said the Glass House, but the Glass House is clearly president.
Okay.
So the lounge?
Lounge again.
Maybe.
Is it based on the fact it's near the gym? Maybe.
Also true.
So that might be it.
Yeah.
Right. And then activities, I think courtyard.
Yeah, it's got to be.
It's got to be.
Time warps, any event ever always happens in courtyard.
Yeah. Get a bit of Marmite.
Yeah.
Also, in case you don't know, the craziest night of the year is post-USU election results night. Crazy. Yeah. Student media, get a few drinks in them. Crazy. Off the wall.
Yeah. Can you imagine what we're like?
Whoa.
Speaking of the wall, tweet us. Let us know what you think.
We've actually got some really hot takes here. Someone said, if they drink Carling, don't vote for them. Maybe that's how you should decide.
Okay,
Maybe
yeah.
that should be the question we should be getting into all the interviews.
What's your opinion on Carling?
What drink do you drink?
Yeah.
That maybe is it. We've also got more Carling themed drinks. We got a little bit of abuse against the tech team. We don't
Let's keep
like
it friendly.
cyberbullying here.
Yeah.
So we'll take that out right away. It's not on the page anymore. Also, in case you're wondering what that giant white blob is, it is a rag.
Yep.
Because it says RIP rag officer and there is a picture of a rag. But anyway, back to the studio for some interviews, I believe.
So, hi, Freddie. You're running for LGBTQ plus officer. You mentioned in your manifesto that one of your key points was about a pronoun identification system. Would you like to elaborate more on that?
Yeah, absolutely. So with the pronoun identification system, basically it's a system whereby students can submit their pronouns or their preferred pronouns to the university, and then this can be passed on to, sticks, course supervisors, seminar tutors, lecturers, and they aim to kind of prevent misgendering within academic environments, as it's such a common problem, but it has such an easy solution, I feel.
Yeah, and I think you mentioned the importance of can be passed with consent, and that you want to have more pronouns available for more people just other than those who are trans and non-binary. How do you envision it working if there is a problem the other way, if a few people don't consent for reasons of transition, and would they still look like the outliers if they are not showing their pronouns?
No, absolutely. Like, recently I've had a few kind of discussions about this, and like, if people are not comfortable kind of using the pronouns that they may be out to with close friends, then they don't have to. It's basically students should feel comfortable to use their pronouns when they're ready to. Like, we're not forced. It's not like a case of forcing them to be outed or anything. And that's a really important thing to highlight, because that's not what we're trying to do. We're trying to prevent the misgendering and to make sure people do feel more comfortable interacting within academic environments and in social environments too.
Yeah, I know personally that the university have done quite well at making sure that I felt included and in helping me with changing my name on the university system. You mentioned about changing university cards.
Yeah. So my idea was, again, like following on from the pronoun identification system, I had devised the idea of maybe potentially putting pronouns on student cards. Again, like, because it's important that, again, people don't get misgendered, because it's still such a common problem within today's society. And again, it raising the point that we're not trying to force people out, we're just trying to make sure they're comfortable as well.
Yeah. You also mentioned about changing names on university cards. Are you aware that the university already has policies for that?
Yeah, in a way, I did look up on it, but I kind of want to make sure there are kind of more stronger policies in place, perhaps, in this kind of situation, to ensure that students don't have to use their dead names if they don't want to.
Yeah, I know the process at the moment to make sure that the card is reprinted quickly is kind of a boast, because it's not easy for a student to directly talk to the people who need to reprint the cards.
Absolutely, and I mean, the process of transitioning is still such a kind of difficult kind of issue within society. Like, it's still such a kind of topical issue within the LGBTQ+ community, and kind of by doing this, it'll kind of enable students to actually feel more comfortable, like socially interacting and being who they are.
Yes, thank you very much for the interview, and we will now be passing back to Studio Red.
Thank you very much.
Welcome. Thank you for joining us today. Let's start with an easy question. Get you settled in. I know it can be nerve-wracking to be on air. What inspired you to run?
Well, I've already been a department rep for the PPE department for the past year. I've really enjoyed the role, but I also think that there could be more that I could be doing, which is why I'd like to move into the faculty rep position.
Very cool. What is it? What more could you be doing?
Well, I'm from a relatively small department of PPE, and I think I have worked hard in that department this year, and I'd like to think I've had a positive impact. But being a faculty rep would allow me to have a wider impact on the whole of social sciences and bring some of the good practice that we have in PPE to a wider basis, which I think would be really great for everyone.
Yeah, sounds amazing. What are you most proud of out of your achievements that you've done as a department rep?
biggest thing I'm proud of is at the moment we're doing a lot of consultation work on the upcoming plans for semesterization and modularization. So I'm doing a lot of work working with our head of department to kind of look at what students like about the course right now, so we can look at how we can keep that as we move forward with the new course, and that's then become a big part of my manifesto, because we need to see that kind of communication and consultation from all the departments in social sciences.
That's really good. What do you think is the biggest challenge faced by students in social sciences at the moment?
I think one of the big challenges, if we're talking about right now, is strikes. And making sure that students are supported with that is something that we work on quite a lot at the moment. As a department rep, we spend a lot of time in meetings talking about how we can make sure students are properly supported. And then looking forward probably is semesterization and modularization. We're looking at massive changes to some courses, potentially. So we need to make sure that A, that those changes are in the best interest of students, and B, that students who are going to be taking these new courses, who are at York right now and don't know what the future of their course looks like, are aware.
Are you planning on doing any work for future students that are joining York, other than just students that are coming into York at the moment?
A lot of the work with things like semesterization and modularization that I'm keen on doing, a lot of the work with making sure that we have more students engaging with student voice in social sciences will have a knock-on impact to future students as well. It's really important that we have a really strong system so that students coming in can benefit from that system as well.
Yeah. So you said you're the department rep for PPE. Do you think you're going to be able to extend your expertise to other degrees that you haven't been a part of?
Yep, 100%. As a department rep, you work really, really closely and spend lots of time with your faculty rep that you have at the moment, so Matt Best for myself at the moment, and then the other department reps, not just in your own department, but across the entire university through things like the academic leadership team. As a department rep for PPE, I do a lot of work with politics and economics as well, by nature, so I'm quite well versed with lots of different programmes.
I can imagine. You've spoken a lot about the importance of communication. How do you plan on making yourself accessible to students?
I think it's really important that the faculty rep is well known and particularly really easily contactable by department reps. You know, you're a leader to a department rep team, so it's about being really easily contactable to them, but also to students. It's about having a presence. So I want to look at how we can do that. Can we maybe set up some social media? How can we better publicise the faculty rep email so people know how to get in contact with me? All of that kind of thing.
Would you consider social media?
I definitely would consider social media. It's about looking at what has been done by other people and what will work best for social sciences students.
That was great. Thank you very much for joining us tonight.
Thank you for having me.
We now hand over to Studio Blue.
And I'm joined now with Anushka Sonal, who's running for Environment and Ethics Officer. Thank you very much for coming to join us this evening.
Thank you for having me.
Just talk to me first off. Who are you? And why should people be voting for you for Environment and Ethics Officer?
So my name's Anushka, as you pointed out. I'm a second-year social and political science student. I think the reason people should vote for me is A, I'm really approachable, B, I'm extremely passionate, and C, I have the experience and I have the connections. I'm currently the chair of Labour Society and have the connections with Rachel Maskell, our local Labour MP, who actually does a lot about environmental sustainability in the wider city of York. I'd like to work collaboratively with her, and given those links I've already created, I think that would make me an ideal candidate for this role.
Absolutely. You talk about closed swapping and building a bit wider network for closed swapping around campus. How do you get students to buy in? Because you can have all the systems we want, we can make all the things we want. How do you get students to get involved?
That's a really good point. Actually, there's something that I'm really, really passionate about is actually making that student network on social media and actually making sure the student voice is represented on social media. So allowing for students to be as involved as possible, to maybe doing it on a more college scale. And having a college scale allows for the network to be there created as well and have that like local links within the college. And something that I would promote that with as well is I'd want to do a fashion sustainability catwalk and fashion show as well as an exhibition. And I think that would allow for the awareness on why we need to talk about fast fashion and why we need to talk about fast fashion now. And having that as a big event at university would push forward the close swapping network.
And you've spoken a lot about environmental issues and sustainability and working with the City Council, like you said, and with Rachel Maskell. Can we talk a bit about ethics side of it, maybe? What do you want to do there? What do you want to do on the sort of not necessarily directly related to the environment? What are the issues that you want to tackle?
That's a really good question, especially with ethics, as it's such a broad part of the university, and there is so much that I would want to talk about there. But absolutely, for me, it would be representing the student voice within the ethics side and making sure that if there's anything people find unethical, such as maybe the supply chains using from university being related to sweatshops, stuff like that would be something that I'd want to make sure I bring up in conversation